So this is our 2018 BMW 430i. Behind that is my 2018 Dodge Challenger Scat Pack. Behind this is our 2017 BMW 740i. And this is our 2020 Prius plug-in hybrid XLE. And today I'm going to talk about why I bought this ridiculous thing. All right, so let's talk about number one, one of the 10 reasons why I bought this car. The first reason I bought this car was obviously the gas mileage. That goes without saying. No one would buy such a thing if it didn't have great gas mileage. And what I've been averaging now after owning this for about 15 days is about 66.5 miles to the gallon. That's insane. With a 10-gallon tank, they say that this will get 640 miles to the tank. The thing is you get almost 25 to 30 miles of pure electric, which means if you're going downhill or in optimal conditions, I've been able to reach between 30 and 35 miles on my battery alone some days, and I haven't had to use any gas when I'm staying local in town. But the main reason why I bought this thing is I'm doing about 2,000 to 3,000 miles per month in my job, and I've been killing my other cars. And standing at the gas station constantly. With this thing, I've put over 1,000 miles on it now in 2 weeks, and I've used a tank and a half, which is the equivalent of a normal 15-gallon tank. So for a 15-gallon tank in your car, or in a normal regular car, gas car, you're probably gonna get somewhere between 300 and 400 miles per tank out of a 15-gallon tank. In this car, a 10-gallon tank, I'm getting 640 miles. Some days I'm using none of that gas, so I'm really getting more. And when I go fill it up again, I actually use 15 gallons worth of gas, I'm actually getting close to, if not over, 1,000 miles for the same amount of gas that you'll use on your normal car. But here's the fun part, I only have to put in regular unleaded. I don't have to put in super unleaded like I do with these other high-performance cars. So that's reason number one. All right, reason number two why I bought this car. This is a plug-in hybrid, meaning I can plug this car in overnight, and it takes about 5 hours to get a full charge. And like I said before, I get 25 to 30 miles. If I'm going downhill, the regenerative brakes will recharge the battery enough to generally stretch this thing past the 30-mile point, which is pretty incredible considering that there are certain days where I have to use literally no gas whatsoever. There's charging stations everywhere now, so I just plug it in, and for a couple dollars I get a full charge again, and I could drive around for another 25-30 miles. Having the full electric option at my fingertips is pretty cool. Reason number three why I bought this car is because of the full electric option, this car qualifies for the Carpool Stickers here in California, meaning now I get to save on some of the bigger days that I'm driving, some of the big 300-400 mile days that I'm driving all across Southern California. I get to use the carpool lane. I already got the Carpool Stickers, so now by myself in the car, I'm cruising down the carpool lane with all the other people in their Priuses, and I'm saving literally an hour to 2 hours a day from sitting in the normal traffic, which is pretty incredible, pretty awesome. And by the way, these stickers are good for 3 years, so I don't have to worry about ever having to drive in the full regular traffic during the week. Pretty awesome. Reason number four I bought this car was because of the maintenance issues that I'm experiencing on my more expensive cars. Between the Dodge and the BMW, brakes alone are running $600, $700 on the Dodge to well over $1,000 on the BMW. Oil change on the Dodge is about $150. Oil change on the BMW, no matter where you go on that 7 Series, is $350. Someone's gonna say, well, you shouldn't buy that car if you can't afford it. It's not about affording, it's about waste. I am wasting money, 3,000 miles a month on the car. Literally almost every other month, the thing comes on to tell me to get the car serviced and to get the oil changed. That's a problem. Right now, currently, the brake fluid light's on, so I've got to take it in. The wear and tear on these expensive cars is super expensive to maintain. And then once you run through all the miles and you're out of warranty, and if you're not a great mechanic, you're going to be taking these super high-tech cars into the shop quite often. BMW, I have not found it to be the most reliable car in the world, and it's been in the shop no less than about 6 times since I bought it. I'm not going to play that game with those cars anymore. I do love these cars. I love these nice high-end cars. I enjoy driving them. They're fun, they're high performance, they look really cool, but I'm destroying these cars driving so many miles on them, so I might as well take this thing and run this thing into the ground. It's got 2 years of all the services included. It's got a 10-year, 100,000 powertrain and electric motor, electric system warranty on it, and 3 years, 36,000 miles. And all the reviews that I read on this car is it'll go several 100,000 miles before it's needing any major repairs. And even after it runs out of warranty, the cost to repair this thing is going to be a fraction of what it would cost to repair my super nice, expensive, high-end cars. Which takes me to number 5. The 5th reason why I bought this car is reliability. I read every article I could. I researched on the internet and I read about the reliability of the Toyota Prius. And since its inception, this car has been one of the most reliable cars on the road. People do not have to take them in to get them fixed. A good friend of mine has one. It's about 135, 140,000 miles. He says he's done nothing more than do oil changes on the car. That is huge when it comes to the cost of ownership of this car. I'm not going to have to do or spend a lot of time broken down on the side of the road. I expect that this thing will be reliable through the next 3 years, no problem, while I drive the wheels off of it, and I don't have to worry about the reliability issues. The reason why, if you think about this, you see BMWs, Mercedes, even Teslas, you see these really high-end cars always broken down on the side of the freeway, and I know you see it because I see it too, is because they are not built to do the massive amount of miles like they were back in the diesel Mercedes days when you can drive those things for 1,000,000 miles before you had to do anything to them. Nowadays, with all the electronics and crap on there that can go wrong, these things are breaking down constantly. This thing, despite all the technology, the reliability is ridiculous. So now I get to have the peace of mind while I'm out there on the road that this thing is most likely not going to be breaking down for the next 100, 150, maybe even 200,000 miles. So the 6th reason I bought this car, and this is gonna probably trigger a bunch of you, is the styling of the car. They've so dramatically changed the styling of this car in the last couple of years, especially with the plug-in, with the swoop in the back and the really cool lines across of it. Some people call it over-styling. I think at the very least it distracts from it just being a Prius. It looks a lot better than it used to look, and with the blacked out windows, so far, no joke, I've had people literally tell me it's the nicest looking Prius they've ever seen. If you took the badges off of this thing, I think while people might still recognize it to be a Prius, they would recognize it to be a nicer hybrid / electric car that's on the road under $30,000. If you look at the Hyundai Ioniq, or if you look at the BMW i3, these are really ugly cars. The Chevy Volt wasn't bad looking and they discontinued those this year, so you can't even buy those new. If you look at the Chevy Bolt, it's horrendous looking, it's ridiculous. I mean, it's just ugly beyond belief. Going back to the BMW i3, the interior is just, you know, really plain and kind of looks old. This thing looks super modern, super nice, and frankly for a Prius, I mean, it's kind of palatable. That's hard for me to say because I love my Dodge Challenger and I love the styling of the BMWs. But if I have to drive one of these things, I think the styling is way better than it's been in the past. The back isn't as high as the other ones were, and it just looks much more sleek. And like I said, with the blacked out limo tint windows, people can't even see me in it. They don't know I'm driving it, which is cool too. But at the very least, it makes the car just look more substantial. The 7th reason I bought this car is the interior. I looked at the interior of the BMW i3, and like I said earlier, these big square screens popping up everywhere, and the big knob on behind the steering wheel to shift the car, and just overall the thing looked really weird on the inside. Some people may like it. It just didn't look sleek and cool and modern on the inside of the car. If you look at the Hyundai Ioniq, it's got a little tiny navigation screen. If you look at the Chevy Volt, before they discontinued it, it's got that little tiny navigation thing or screen. This thing has an 11.3-inch touchscreen. I mean, I don't want to say it's Tesla-esque, but they probably got the idea from them. And it's huge, and it shows you everything you want to know about the car. Some people say that they don't like that it's pretty much only touchscreen. I love it. I'm used to that. It's how I function with my phone every single day. I'm used to touchscreen stuff, so this works out perfectly, and it's really easy to use. The navigation's really nice. All the power management stuff is really cool looking on the dash. So, and then the interior with the Soft-Tech leather interior. It's fake leather, obviously, but it's really nice, easy to clean, and super comfortable. The 8th reason why I bought this car is the rebates. I get over $5,000 tax rebate from buying this car. So at around $28,900, you can knock $5,000 right off of that price I'm getting back from the federal government for buying the car. That is pretty incredible considering it, you know, my income level. Any tax help I can get is great. And when you buy a car like this, you get that. Additionally, Southern California Edison has on their website that as soon as I got my registration, I fill out a form and they send me a check for $1,000 also, just because I bought an electric car. So that's pretty awesome. So tying in the rebates of close to $6,000 in money back into my pocket, I mean, it's hard not to say, you know, basically I'm paying about, I don't know, $24,000 for this car, $23,000 for this car when I'm all said and done. That's another reason why I had to get it. The 9th reason why I bought this car is the price. Under $30,000 with almost every option you could possibly get. I didn't get the backup sensors, but it's got a backup camera, which all cars do now. But it's got all the technology I can ever imagine. It's got the adaptive cruise control that works at stop and go traffic. It's got the lane departure warnings, the pedestrian avoidance, the collision avoidance stuff. It's got a power front seat. I mean, it's got everything I could possibly ask for in a car, the one-touch power windows. I mean, it's pretty awesome. And for under $30,000 with all the rebates, I couldn't find another car that would make as much sense and get the same gas mileage that this thing gets. I mean, even if you look at the BMW, you're running around i3, it's $50,000. The Tesla's $100,000, or if you get the smaller, the 3, you're looking at what, $40,000, $50,000 for that car. And even with the rebates, it still kind of defeats the entire purpose, and you're still stopping at a charger to charge your car a couple times, probably maybe for me a couple times a day, and that's time I don't have to waste. So for the money, there just isn't another car out there. The only other car I think would have been comparable to this was the Chevy Volt, and they discontinued it. So now what? There's nothing out there you can really get. I mean, the Hyundai Ioniq looks like a great option, but I'm sorry, but it's ugly, and it doesn't have all the other things that I just shared in the last few reasons why I bought this car. So pricing, I don't think you can beat it for what you're getting for the money. And the 10th reason why I bought this car was pretty simple. The federal government for 2019's numbers are 58 cents a mile you get to write off for business mileage. With the amount of mileage I do, you can just simply do the math and figure that that's going to pay for this car each and every year. But at my company, I get paid back for mileage. So you can do the math that I'm collecting based on the mileage that I'm putting on the car, somewhere between $1,200 and $1,400 a month in just cash in my pocket to drive this car that costs me very little to drive every single month. Very little in gas, very little in payment, very little in anything. And I'm collecting 58 cents per mile and about $1,300 to $1,400 a month, which means, folks, I now, for this, get this car, drive this car every single day with my mileage reimbursement, I can get rid of my Dodge Scat Pack and get my Hellcat finally. Totally makes sense, and probably around March, August, that's probably what I'm gonna do, because this thing is gonna pay for, just driving this is gonna pay for both this and with the mileage reimbursement, pay for my Hellcat as well. It seemed like a no-brainer. I can't understand why anybody wouldn't seriously consider one of these things other than the whole humiliation factor, which will come in another video where I share some fun stories and frustrating stories on what it's like driving one of these things and kind of the things you got to deal with every single day. It's not horrible, it's worth it, the sacrifice is well worth it, but it's kind of funny the stuff you got to deal with. All right, folks, I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something about why I made this crazy decision. I honestly would highly recommend anybody who does a lot of miles every single year, get one of these. I don't want to call it this, but I'm gonna. It's a disposable vehicle. You can drive the wheels off it. It's not gonna break. It's not gonna cost you a fortune to drive. You're gonna get a bunch of tax write-offs, tax benefits. It's got all the technology in the world that you could ever ask for. It doesn't look too bad, and if you black out the windows, your friends won't know you're driving it anyways. You got the Carpool sticker, you got an amazing stereo system, you've got everything, Bluetooth, you name it, it's all in here. And you're gonna save a boatload of money on gas, and you're gonna be able to commute and get paid back by the government for your business mileage, or by your company if you're getting paid mileage reimbursement. So frankly, it's a no-brainer for me. As hard as it was for me to make this decision, I just made it. I pulled the trigger and did it and took the heat from all my friends. And it's fine, and I feel good. I'm gonna laugh all the way to the bank. With that said, thank you so much for watching my video. Stay tuned for the next video coming up really soon, which is going to me doing a little minor modification to this car to make one thing about this car that's a little frustrating, a little more palatable, and give it just a little strength out on the road. So stay tuned for that next video. Bye.